Welcome to Illumination Works Expert Talks, where our experts share tips and tricks for today's modern cool tech. Today's session is for those folks who are interested in extracting tabular data from images. We are joined today by our technical expert, Isaac Sarver. Isaac is a data scientist with a master's degree in linguistics. The focus of his work here at Illumination Works is text analytics and natural language processing. So now, let's turn this show over to Isaac.
Today, I'll be presenting on techniques to extract tabular data from scanned images. This is a follow-up talk to that of my colleague, Srini Anand, on extracting tables from native PDF documents. A link to the previous talk will be provided in the description below. The challenge of dealing with tables and images is that they are not extractable by conventional PDF mining libraries. In order to convert a table from an image, the data of various pixel arrangements in the image must be converted to text data, and that text data must be restructured into the appropriate rows and columns of the table. The solution in this video uses image processing to detect the lines and understand the tabular structure of the data, and uses machine learning to extract the text from the cells detected on the table. There are a range of available technologies for line detection and text extraction. The Python library OpenCV is a computer vision library that is suited for processing image data, and it provides many capabilities such as image thresholding, blurring and dilation of lines, line and contour detection, and more. Also, keep in mind that these are building blocks that require some creativity and a knowledge of what your end goal is in order to build something useful. Tesseract is an open source optical character recognition engine sponsored by Google, which runs on LSTM networks and is available in a variety of languages. It is a straightforward out-of-the-box tool for OCR and has various modes available for different data types. It can also be retrained on specific fonts or text data if needed. The table extraction pipeline takes in an image or scanned PDF as its input and goes through two steps: image processing and OCR, handled by each of the libraries mentioned on the previous slide. The image processing identifies the table and detects all the lines in it, breaking it up into individual cells. The cells are then passed through the OCR process, and once the text is extracted from each individual cell, the table is reconstructed into a usable data format, such as a CSV file. Diving into this pipeline a bit more, let's talk about how we can achieve detection of the table lines. So this is accomplished by creating vertical and horizontal filters, or kernels, that pass over the image and demarcate each line in the table. On this slide, you can see a code snippet showing this process using the getStructuring element and morphology X functions from the OpenCV library. To understand more how the kernels are detecting the lines, let's zoom into this pixel by pixel version of a table. So we want the kernel to pick up on the lines traversing the current image, but ignore the digits within the cells. A vertical kernel, as seen here, will have a target cell in the middle and only mark a pixel as being part of a line if all the pixels adjacent to a certain length, both above and below the target, have the same value. So as the image is traversed, the first few pixels here are ignored, but once it reaches the line, it will mark that pixel as being part of the line and continue its process across the whole image. Zooming back out, here are the actual results of the line detection on this example table. So first we have this example table from a sample data set of measurements of iris plants. And so now after the line detection, we have our horizontal kernel results, the vertical kernel results, and finally the two combined, which reveals to the pipeline the individual cells of the table. Next, let's talk about the text extraction portion of the pipeline. So for the text extraction, PyTesseract allows Tesseract, the OCR engine being used, to be called from Python, so both of these tools must be installed. A number of what are called page segmentation modes are available in Tesseract, which can be changed depending on the nature of the data being extracted. Mode 6 assumes a uniform block of text and is a good default mode. However, others might be more useful if the cells in the table consistently contain a single word, a single character, or sparse text. Tesseract can also be retrained on a specific font, and all you would need to do this is a TTF file of that font, and there's code available on Tesseract's GitHub that will create training data and fine-tune the model for you. The link to that GitHub is at the bottom of the slide. Additionally, if you have annotated data for handwritten tables, you can retrain Tesseract on that as well. Lastly, once all the text is extracted, it still needs to be reconstructed into the appropriate alignment of columns and rows. This is accomplished by tracking the table structure via pixel coordinates. Each cell that is identified during the line detection process is marked for its top, center, and bottom pixel coordinate on the image, and comparing these coordinates allows the pipeline to recreate the table structure in a structured data format. The biggest source of errors could be if the table gets misaligned for some reason, because a cell wasn't detected or was combined with another cell. And in this case, rows are examined to make sure that they have a uniform length, and if a row is shorter than expected, each cell in that row is examined for signs of cell combination so that the misalignment can be corrected. Seeing this reconstruction in action, OpenCV traverses the identified cells from upper left to lower right, and for each one, the code marks the upper, center, and bottom coordinates of the cell. This is associated with the extracted text for table reconstruction. And in this example output on the right, the data in the second row was not extracted correctly. So we can see the first two cells in the image of the second row were extracted as one, and the dividing line was misinterpreted as a pipe symbol. So here the code will notice this misalignment and correct for this. So now we've seen all the necessary steps needed to take an image of a table like this and get a structured output, such as a CSV file of this tabular data. If you are curious to step through the code and try it out yourself, please visit our code repository on our GitHub link below for a Jupyter Notebook walkthrough of the tools discussed in this video.
Thanks for joining us for this Illumination Works expert talk. We hope you found this session to be informative and useful. Illumination Works is a user-centric digital transformation company specializing in everything data, from big data to data science, software engineering, data management, and cloud development, all worked with an agile mindset. For upcoming events and other on-demand webinars, check out our website at ilwllc.com, or if you have any questions, contact us at info@ilwllc.com. Be sure to follow us on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, as well as our Illumination Works YouTube channel. And thanks again for joining us. We'll see you soon.